In this video I'll show you how to make 5 different headbands. And if you're not feeling quite ready to try sewing, or if you don't have a sewing machine, the 5th headband is a no-sew option, so there's something for everyone. Start by measuring around your head so you'll know how big to make your headband. My measurement is 58 centimeters. For the first headband, I start by cutting a piece of elastic that is 7 centimeters long and 2 pieces of ribbon that are 11 centimeters long. Make sure your elastic can stretch to the length of the ribbon. Sew the 2 pieces of ribbon together on the long side, staying very close to the edge. Place the elastic inside, fold it closed and stitch it in place along the short edge. Do the same on the other side. Finally, stretch out the elastic and sew the other long side of the ribbon together, making sure not to stitch through the elastic. Place your elastic closure on one end of the lace, right sides together. Stitch it down with a straight stitch. Protect the end from raveling by stitching over it in a tight zigzag stitch and trim the edge. Now check the length of your headband. The elastic will stretch, so make it a couple centimeters shorter than it needs to be. Place the other end of the elastic closure on the other end and sew it down the same way. First with a straight stitch and then finishing the edge with a zigzag stitch. To make the seam allowances lie nice and flat, stitch them down with a straight stitch. And the first headband is done! Start to draw a pattern by marking your head measurement. I'm making my headband 5 centimeters wide in the middle, with a slow taper to 3 centimeters at each of the ends. For the second headband you'll need to use a stretchy fabric. I'm using an organic cotton jersey. Grab your fabric, double it up and pin your pattern to the 2 layers. Cut it out with a 1.5 centimeter seam allowance, giving you 2 pieces of fabric. Pin the 2 pieces right sides together and sew along the long sides with a stretch stitch or a narrow zigzag stitch. Turn the tube inside out. Place the 2 ends wrong sides together and sew them with a straight stitch. Trim the seam down and turn the headband right sides together. Stitch another line encasing the first seam. And that's it for the second headband. For the third headband we'll be using the same pattern, but this time with a non-stretchy fabric. Pin the pattern to a double layer of fabric and cut it out, again with a 1.5 centimeters of seam allowance. Place the 2 pieces right sides together and sew along the long sides again, this time using a straight stitch. Trim the edges with pinking shears to prevent fraying and then turn the tube inside out. We'll be adding elastic in the back, and for this mark a piece of fabric to be twice the width of your elastic and 7 centimeters long. Add 1.5 centimeters of seam allowance on all sides. Fold the piece right sides together and stitch the long side closed with a straight stitch. Trim the edges and turn the tube inside out. Place a 5 centimeter piece of elastic inside, lining it up with one end. Stitch the elastic in place close to the edge. Pull the casing back so that the other end of the elastic lines up with the end. Stitch this end down too. Fold the edges of the headband inside and place the end of the elastic inside as well. Stitch it down with a straight stitch close to the edge. Repeat this on the other side. And that's another headband done! Now back to some stretchy fabric again. Cut 4 strips of 5 centimeters wide and your head measurement long. For me that was 58 centimeters. Pin 2 pieces right sides together and sew them down along the long ends with a stretch stitch or a narrow zigzag. And turn the tube inside out. Repeat this for the other 2 pieces. Fold 1 tube right sides together and stitch the ends together. Loop the other tube through the first one and then also stitch its ends together. Place all of the ends on top of each other, making sure not to twist any of them, and check the size around your head. Stitch all 4 ends together at the right size and cut away the excess fabric. To hide the seam, cut a piece of fabric of around 10 by 10 centimeters. Fold it around the headband and stitch a tube as close as you can to the headband without actually stitching through it. Cut away the excess fabric and turn the tube inside out. Center the tube over the seam and fold the edges inside. And the fourth headband is done. Like I promised, the final headband requires no sewing at all. Cut 5 strips of jersey fabric, around 4 cm wide and 70 cm long. Make the strips roll up by rolling them between your hands and pulling on them. Clamp the 5 strips next to each other in a clamp and start braiding. I'm using 5 strands to give a bit of a wider braid, but you can just as easily use 3 or even 7 strands for a thinner or wider headband. When your headband is long enough to fit around your head, take it out of the clamp and knot each of the 5 pairs of strands together. Trim the ends down. Cut a strip of jersey that's around 5 cm wide and 25 cm long. Make a nice knot around the ends of the braid and cut the tails to a length that you like. And that's it for the 5th and final headband. I hope you enjoyed making these headbands with me. If you did, then leave me a thumbs up and tell me down in the comments which one's your favorite. Also, if you want to stay up to date with my projects and get some sneak previews, then follow me on Instagram. I put the link down in the description for you. So I'll see you next time I'm making something. Bye!